Hey, welcome to the Black Knight Nation podcast. I'm your host, Sal Interdonato, here with my co-host, Steve Anderson. We're going to recap, do a quick reaction to Army's 2014 loss at Wisconsin. This podcast is sponsored by Higher Echelon. Higher Echelon is a company that's run by former Army quarterback Joe Ross. He served as an officer in the Army, and he also coached at West Point. And we thank Joe Ross and Higher Echelon for sponsoring this podcast. Steve, I guess first off, I'm just going to say this was a winnable game, no doubt, for the Black Knights, even though they were trailing 13-0 at halftime, even though it looked like they couldn't move an inch in the first half. This turned into a winnable game in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they had to drive the ball 91 yards for that winning touchdown if they were going to get this done, but they put themselves in position to do that. And it looked like they owned momentum in the second half. And Coach Monken said at the end, I mean, it was just they just couldn't make enough plays in this game. And man, it's tough because this is another game where they go blow to blow with a Power 5 opponent, for one of the best conferences in FBS football, and they almost pulled out another one here. Unfortunately, there was a little turnover that happened that kind of like derailed that drive. And there are a couple other things that we can talk about, but maybe first, what are your first thoughts on this game?
Really a tale of two halves. Felt like we came into the game trying to feel out too much of Wisconsin's rush defense. I mean, look, they're number one in the country at stopping the run. Okay, we're number one in the country at running the ball. Kind of a battle of wills. Very similar teams. Is that time of possession, running the football. I mean, the announcers, at least on when I was listening to it, the announcer just kept saying, like, all right, there's been 22 plays and one pass so far. And the first quarter went by fast. I mean, the first quarter was, I think, you have 15 minutes of football, and I think it was like 19 minutes of total time or something crazy like that. So it was a really good, battle of wills, battle of the trenches. But tale of two halves. Really miss Christian Anderson out there, for the past two games now, just haven't just looked like just a little off on the offensive side of the ball. Defense played their hearts out. Man, love watching the guys play. I thought Broughton was going to have another interception. Man, it was so close. Great play. I thought overall we got settled in on defense fairly quickly. I know the quarterback started off pretty hot, but we calmed him down in the second half. Again, tale of two halves. Thought we had a chance there at the end, but it was a great game to watch. Christian having Anderson out there would have gave us that extra dynamic at the quarterback position that really would have helped.
It's another game where no doubt you're proud of the team's effort, right? You're proud of the team's effort, but you're not proud of the result, right? Yeah. And that's what Markel Broughton was. He said, it's a loss is a loss, and they just didn't do enough. And Coach Monken said it just like we're saying. This team played their hearts out, and just to come up a little short again against a Power 5 school. And then here comes another Power 5 school on Saturday at Michie Stadium that's ranked and is better than Wisconsin. Bottom line, Wake Forest is better than Wisconsin. So here comes right back to back. They don't get much time to think about this Wisconsin game. They got to get ready for Wake Forest, So let's real quick just go over maybe a little bit of the game. First drive, Steve, turnover for Army. Andre Carter strip. Army gets the ball, I believe, like a little bit in the 43 of Wisconsin, or in Wisconsin territory, but we can't move the ball. You can't move the ball. Fullback dive, quarterback keep, and punt. Now, I know this is not in their offense, and I know they were never going to trot Jabari Laws out for the first play. If I'm a different coach and I don't coach in this style of offense, I may take a shot on first down, being in Wisconsin territory, being in their building, being a running for a team, thinking that they know that we're going to run fullback dive 99.9% of the time on our first play. That's me. Again, armchair quarterback, armchair offensive coordinator here. But to run 2 straight dives right away, I mean, they're waiting for it. They're just saying, "Okay, come on, move on."
Yeah, again, going into this defense has made a living on stopping the run and making teams have to pass. Knowing that we don't pass, I don't think anybody in that stadium, including the fans, believe that we were going to take a shot right there. So, I look, I don't mind going to what we know and what we're good at, right? Like we're going to establish a run and open up some passing lanes. There's multiple times, bottom line is penalties and inefficiency when we pass the ball hurt us on opening up those running lanes today. Okay. We know that we have to have those in order to open up those running lanes. And the few times we did pass, other than towards the end, we either had penalties or we just were off the mark. And that's the difference with having Christian Anderson. Like he hits, he throws the ball 6 times, he's going to complete 5 of them. And then it's going to open up the dive and the trap. I'll tell you what, that linebacker from Wisconsin was just shooting that gap and just killing us. Multiple series. I thought, he's got 15 siblings, comes from a big family. So I think his name's, what was it? Leo
Chanel.
Chanel. Yeah. He had the big fumble at the end too. Great player, but man, oh man, he was pissing me off throughout the game.
He was parking himself right in Army's backfield, like be almost on snap count, and it's like
I'll give you a little picture. So we were, wife's making some snacks for us to watch the game. The boys are kind of getting settled in to watch the game. Army creates a turnover, and I erupt in the house. Just scream. I think I scared everybody in my family. I was yelling so loud. I was so excited. Like that's how you set the tone, set the tempo for the game. And then we just kind of fiddled out that first series and had to punt. And I think we punted more times this game than we have all season combined. A lot of punts. Punter did a great job. We had field position most of the game, just couldn't capitalize on it.
Yeah, and you know what? I look back, 5 punts for Zach Harding, 40 yards, but good field position punts most of the time, right? And when you're running 20 plays in the first half, that's all that Army ran in the first half, I believe. 20 plays, 48 yards, and no passes attempts. Not even get the quarterback out, roll the quarterback out. If they're covered, let them run, like Tahir Tyler did for the first touchdown, right?
Yeah, that was a great play.
Get the quarterback out in space. Get away from that center. Get away from Leo Chanel. Just get away from him.
Look again. Did the run? Not a lot of pitches tonight. Not a lot of outside perimeter play. And it's not about always making the right read and running the triple out. Yes, that is 80% of the triple option is reading what the defense gives you, making the right decision, which we didn't make a lot. We didn't make every right decision tonight. But you have to keep the defense honest. You have to get on the perimeter and you have to complete passes to just get guys out of the box and get guys thinking about other people. If in the triple option, the fullback and the quarterback are the bread and butter, right? And you only run the bread and butter, and that defense says someone else is going to beat us, you're going to be in for a long day. And I think in the second half, we got, I forget what part of the second half it was, but we got a nice perimeter play, and that opened up the fullback. Then the fullback had, and then a court right, like it was like the perimeter play happened, then the fullback dive gave us 6, and then the quarterback follow gave us the first down. It was just it's just how the triple option is supposed to be worked. So just kind of frustrating the first half to see that we weren't gonna at least try to keep them honest.
Yeah, Steve, here's a stat. The longest run by a fullback today, 4 yards. 4 yards for the longest run for a fullback. And I can do the quick math, but it's not pretty. It's like probably 2 yards a carry. It's probably like 2 yards a carry. It might be lower than 2 yards a carry. Let's see. I'm going to do the quick math here. Bear with me. 19 carries for 23, 19 carries for 32 yards for the fullbacks, if I'm right. Wow. That is a long day.
Yeah,
for
just not a stat you see very often.
No. And you know what? I'm thinking about, the first half, right? It's 7-0. And Army looks like it's stopped Wisconsin again. Nolan Cockrell's running off. Hey, what a game by Nolan Cockrell today, right? What a game by Andre Carter today. Let's talk Eric Smith. Let's talk Markel Broughton. Steve, this defense has probably at least 3, maybe 4 to 5 guys that may play on the next level. I mean, and this was a game where they certainly showcased themselves, because if any NFL scouts were watching this game, this was the one on Army's schedule. And when they see Nolan Cockrell clog up the middle, Andre Carter, I mean, I don't even want to start with how many times Andre Carter was held today. I can't. I can't do it. I mean,
we were on the Army football chat that we have. We saw 3 plays in a row Andre Carter held, and I was just dying laughing. Like, this is absurd. How is it? You miss it one play, okay. You miss the second play, okay. A third play, it was literally 3 plays in a row. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, this defense has a lot to be proud about. And although this Wisconsin team's not good, there's definitely the big boys up front for Wisconsin will be playing on Sundays in the next couple of years. Those guys, Wisconsin they send out running backs and they send out linemen to the NFL. So just like you said, they showcased their talent. They got up in there. They were not afraid. They were not. They were more than capable of holding their own against Wisconsin's front 6, front 7 most of the game. And then other than the first, kind of getting settling in the first, 7 or 8 passes, our DBs played great the rest of the game.
Yeah, you know what? I just, again, I am not a football coach. I am just but you got to know that that Mertz is going to the tight end. He's going to the tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious. And the guy is, I don't know. Finally, it looked like in the second half, they covered him a little bit better, but early in the first half on drives to extend drives, that's his security blanket, tight end completion, third down, move the chains. And, that 4th and 1 on the fake by Wisconsin that kept their drive alive too. That's, people were saying, hey, Army special teams is playing. That's a special teams era. That's a special teams fail right there. And that,
I mean,
that led to a touchdown.
Whether they would have, lined up, 4th and 1 is hard to stop. In any situation, right? Like, we're going to get 4th and 1 99% of the time. Teams that run it, to get it on a fake pump's rough, because you just hate to see it happen. But I think it goes back to what Coach Monken said, right? I mean, we just didn't make enough plays today, and that was one of them that we wish we could have got back. Throughout the day. So, this one is, we sit here at 4-2 now, where we easily could be 6-0. And, not Ball State, we just didn't show up to play, but we could have won this game. It was there. But I tell you what, it is so fun watching this defense play. And just, we used to always say swarm to the ball. Swarm was our word that we used. And these guys just fly around. They know their assignments. Tell you what, Smith is just a great linebacker. Love watching him play. Just sticks his nose where the ball's at all the time. He's flying around. He's near the ball every single play. Really, really great to see. And then, of course, I mentioned it earlier, but that play with Broughton where I thought he was going to pick it was just so athletic.
He got up. Yeah.
Really, really exciting to watch him play.
I just want to give Eric Smith a little bit more respect here. I have to, you follow Academy football. You hear so much about Diego Frigo of Navy and how great of a linebacker he is. Eric Smith is as much as a game changer, a player as Diego Frigo. Eric Smith, I mean, 3-year starter. man, he was laying some hits out today. I mean, and even Malcolm Morrison was coming up. Malcolm Morrison, probably maybe 200 pounds of that hybrid linebacker defensive back.
Yeah.
He was knocking some Wisconsin guys forward. Julian McDuffie, corner, was coming out making hits. I mean, this defense, I mean, they kept Army in the game. They played winning football. The 2 touchdowns they give up, one is at the 2 of the touchdowns they give up, one's at the 1-yard line after that fumble. I mean, and the other one is after that, that fake punt. And both times they got caught looking in the backfield, right, Steve, on 2 of those touchdowns, on the long 33-yard run and on the 5-yard sneak. They got caught up a little bit in the middle, and Wisconsin was able to gain the edge. But I mean, other than that,
probably a little frustration on Carter, just being held all game, and trying to make plays. That running back for Wisconsin's legit, 17-year-old stud. So, the guy, was, he buried himself up in the middle and then bounced it. It's one of the worst things you hate to see. Hate to have happen as a defensive player, is like the play's supposed to go up the middle, everybody's in the middle, and then just an athletic running back bounces it to the outside and takes it to the house. So it happens. It's one of those unfortunate things. The replay clearly showed Andre Carter sneaking inside, so of course he's going to get eaten alive at film tomorrow. But the bottom line is that our defense held us within that game every step of the way, and we just a player too short from at critical points of the game from kind of having control of the game rather than playing from behind.
I gotta be honest, Steve. I'm researching the Army's lowest rushing total most of the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, what the lowest they've been held to in the Jeff Monken era. Because I'm like, man, they're not even going to break 100 in this game, right? And then Tyler Tyler gets that big 36-yard run down the sidelines, and then all of a sudden that bred life into the Army's offense, right? And then then he scores on the 5-yard run where it looks like a pass. No, he takes it in. Smart play, taking it right up the gut where nobody is. And then all of a sudden Army's moving the football. So I mean, the offense figured it out a little bit too late, probably in that second half. But man, toward the end, once the Wisconsin got that 1-yard touchdown to make it a 2-score game, they didn't quit. They went down the field.
No.
I mean, Steve, Jabari Laws to AJ Howard down the sideline, that pass, you can't do any better than that.
Yeah, that was nice. Great pass and catch, both sides. Great pass and then great catch. I think as we talked about, just not enough plays in the first half to try to maybe get, everybody wants to try to establish their offense and make sure that before they go to somewhere else, what we do best is not working. And maybe we were just looking for more plays in the first half that we just weren't getting because Wisconsin was controlling the clock. But second half, I mean, those plays happened because we opened up the playbook a little bit. The counteraction, not just the counteraction, but the run plays, the counter runs with the counter option as well. Kept those. It made the defense have to trust their eyes more and make sure they were watching their keys instead of just playing fast football, running to where the ball is. Right, they got to start reading which way the linemen are going. And a couple of those plays had me. So they were, and I'm sitting on my couch relaxing. I'm not even in the heat of the moment. So if you're faking out the people in the stands, then you're probably doing a pretty good job of making sure you're running the plays as they should be executed. So I think once those plays happen, our guys got a little confidence, like, okay, we can run these, we can run these kind of different sets and different plays. But two, Wisconsin started getting, the announcer said it, like, they were on the sidelines kind of looking at the feeling of the Wisconsin defense, and all of them slumped shoulders. They let Army score on it. They it wasn't until they had to go back on the field they were like, all right, let's get back after. But we punched them, and they felt it. So I was happy to see our guys continue to fight through, and then of course the turnover at the end, just you just can't have it in that situation. So
no, but let's real quick. Wisconsin had shut out Illinois before. Last week. They haven't given up a point in a while, so to get that touchdown, that ended their shutout streak. They came into the game allowing 40 rushing yards a game, and Army got 179 today. Also, just coming into my mind, I want to talk about Tyler's toughness, right? And he stuck in there and took a hit on a pitch, and sometimes we've gotten, a little bit a question that his comfortability with the pitch, right? Tahir's comfortability with the pitch, and he stuck in there, gave the pitch out, took a hit, one play out, comes back and gets that big 36-yard run, and then scores on the next play. I mean, that's an Army quarterback toughness right there, and that's why Tyler is. The coaches are choosing to have Tyler be the quarterback of this team.
That's leadership, right? That's refusing to allow anything to keep you from making plays with the team, and I believe that pitch was opposite-handed too.
Yeah, it was
the left pitch.
It was
hit while he was pitched. I mean, he got, just took a lick. Probably got the wind knocked out of him a little bit, caught his breath, and came back in. And that's, the guys see that, the team sees that. They know this guy's willing to just put himself out there, and you know what? I'll take the hit as long as my guy gets the pitch, because that was that goes from a 4 or 5 yard loss to a 12-yard gain. So but yeah, he's tough kid. I know Coach Monken says it over and over again. Can't play quarterback if you're not tough in the Army system, in the triple option system. So really, really, really great way to respond in that situation.
Yeah, and even Jabari Laws, right, when he had that unfortunate fumble, he took a lick on that hit too, and then he gets up the next series.
He's what you call, he went airborne on that one.
Man, he took a lick and got right back up and came back and threw that pass and set up the second score. So, man, I think they just ran out of a little bit of time there toward the end. 38 seconds left, try an onside kick. Man, Fabrice Voin really lit up the recovery guy, right?
Yeah, that was – yeah.
Holy. And if there was another – see, I think in that play you have three guys lined up in the middle. The kicker for Fabrice Voin, and I believe it was Leo Lewin. I could be wrong. And so when Fabrice Voin hits the guy, the ball just jolted just a touch, Steve. And if there was another guy there, maybe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but it's
a game. There's a couple plays like that where we popped the ball out on a run and it just went right back into the running back's arms.
Oh, Cedric Cunningham had a good forced fumble. That just
right. I mean, fist on ball, great form tackle. So when you pair the ball bouncing the wrong way with not making enough plays, with some mental mistakes, you get a 20-14 loss when you go into Wisconsin. So, we always say it's a game of inches, it's a mental game, all the cliches. But as you pull the onion back on these losses, you'll see it's the ball bounces this way one time, and you don't make this play on this play, and you're looking at a different game. So, but just the way the game kind of played out, as I'm kind of reflecting some more on the first half or second half, there was no difference in the mentality. There was just a different way we approached offense and defense on each side of the ball. So the mentality stayed the same. Looked like we went in there, the coaches made the right adjustments, made the right decisions, and when you only get the ball 30 minutes in the game, I'm not sure what the time of possession was, but I know Wisconsin had it for at least half the game. I know they had it for most of the first half. So, you got to make sure that every possession counts as much as possible. So,
no doubt. I'm trying to find a time of possession. 30 minutes. Well, it was about even. 30 minutes for Wisconsin, about even. But that's not – Army doesn't win games when time of possession's even, right?
Right.
So,
well, before the game, they showed us that Army's usually has the ball for 40 minutes a game. We usually have the ball for 10 more minutes, right?
Yeah.
You have the ball for 10 more minutes in that game, so I think we have a third touchdown, in my opinion.
Yeah,
right?
I think that when the first half is going 18 minutes, Wisconsin 12 to Army, and Army can't really find a way to move the chains much in the first half. That's kind of a little bit of difference. That maybe
think about it. We've had 12-minute drives.
Yeah.
We've had 12-minute drives this year.
Yeah.
You know, and we have 12 minutes in the whole half. That's kind of crazy. But just you know, I mean, it's Wisconsin we're talking about. You know, they don't have a great record this year, but they're 500. They play in the Big Ten. They got big country-fed boys. They got great athletes, and they're number one in the country at stopping the run. So, you know, we had to have known that it was going to be a battle, and it surely was. And you know, we'll just have to. Unfortunately, you know, we still got to wait for that win against that Power 5. You know, that team. So still off the resume in the Monken era, but I'll tell you what, all these games have been close. Oklahoma, Michigan, you know, now Wisconsin. So we are literally a bounce, a play, a mental mistake away from getting over this hump. And you know, I think we'll never look back once we do.
Yeah, and now I was going to ask, but we're talking about games that Army's played on the road in these historic stadiums, right? And games where they've kept it close. So now they get Wake Forest coming up on Saturday at Lincoln Stadium, where they've won 13 in a row. But as I mentioned before, I think that Wake Forest is a better team than Wisconsin. But so if Army wins that game, Steve is able to win that game next week against Wake Forest, do you consider that a quote Power 5? You don't consider Wake Forest among the names of FBS, right? So it's not that win yet.
Yeah, I mean, we've had wins over ranked opponents. We just haven't had wins over large name, you know, historically great programs, right? So, you know, there hasn't been a Notre Dame victory, there hasn't been a Stanford victory or an Oklahoma victory, right? But we've beaten teams in the top 25. I think a couple years ago, San Diego State was like number 25.
It depends on what poll you're looking at. If you just go AP, they haven't beat a ranked opponent on the AP poll since 1972. Believe it or not. So next week, you know, and that was Air Force, like at Mikey Stadium in 1972. So, hey, next week is an opportunity for them, and it's going to be, you know, see how they bounce back, see how they respond. I mean, you're home. You're going to be a little bit beat up from Wisconsin, but I think this team's going to, you know, show up. I think they're going to show up, and I think it's going to be another game like this. And maybe they'll have a play or two left in the fourth quarter, or maybe they'll move the ball a little bit better in the first half.
I do like playing at Mikey Stadium. I do like us playing at Mikey Stadium. You know, it'll be good. So it'll be a good contest, and looking forward to it.
No doubt. Well, we're going to wrap up this reaction to Army's 2014 loss at Camp Randall against Wisconsin. Army falls to 4-2. Wisconsin moves to 3-3. Army another effort to the end. Just like we said, just a play or two away from victory against a Big Ten opponent. Steve, we'll catch you next week against Wake Forest.
Sounds good. Beat Wake Forest.